Have you ever considered that the most profound mysteries of our existence might lie not in the distant cosmos, but within the very fabric of our own consciousness? What if the ancient spiritual teachings, often dismissed as myth, hold keys to understanding reality that modern science is only now beginning to uncover? Prepare to embark on a journey that bridges the seemingly disparate worlds of quantum physics and spiritual wisdom, revealing a universe far more interconnected and alive than you ever imagined. This exploration promises to challenge your perceptions, expand your understanding of reality, and perhaps unlock dormant potentials within yourself. We'll delve into the fascinating convergence of cutting-edge science and timeless mysticism, exploring how concepts like entanglement, superposition, and the observer effect resonate with millennia-old spiritual insights. Get ready to discover how your consciousness might be more than just a byproduct of your brain, but a fundamental force shaping the very universe we inhabit. For centuries, humanity has grappled with fundamental questions: what is reality? What is consciousness? And what is our place within the grand tapestry of existence? Ancient civilizations, from the Vedic sages of India to the indigenous shamans of the Americas, developed intricate philosophical systems that placed consciousness at the center of the universe. They spoke of a universal consciousness, a divine mind, or a unified field from which all manifestation arises. The Upanishads, foundational texts of Hinduism, famously declare Tat Tvamasi, thou art that, implying an inherent oneness between the individual soul Atman and the ultimate reality Brahman. Similarly, Buddhist philosophy emphasizes the illusory nature of a separate self and the interconnectedness of all phenomena through concepts like dependent origination. Mystical traditions across the globe, whether Christian Gnosticism, Sufism, or Kabbalah, consistently point towards an underlying unity and a deeper non-physical dimension of reality, accessible through introspection and spiritual practice. These traditions often employed metaphors and allegories to describe experiences that transcended ordinary perception, hinting at a reality far richer and more complex than what our five senses typically register. Plato's allegory of the cave, for instance, perfectly illustrates the idea that our perceived reality might be merely shadows of a more fundamental truth. Throughout history, visionary thinkers and spiritual masters have independently arrived at strikingly similar conclusions about the nature of consciousness and its role in creation, suggesting a universal truth echoing through diverse cultural expressions. These ancient insights, often dismissed as pre-scientific speculation, are now finding surprising echoes in the most advanced frontiers of modern physics. The 20th century brought about a revolution in physics that fundamentally altered our understanding of the universe: quantum mechanics. Unlike classical physics, which describes a predictable, deterministic world of solid objects, quantum mechanics deals with the bizarre and counterintuitive behavior of matter and energy at the subatomic level. Here, particles can exist in multiple places at once, superposition, become instantaneously linked regardless of distance entanglement, and seem to only choose a definite state when observed. This last point, the observer effect, has profound implications. In experiments like the double-slit experiment, particles behave as waves when not observed, but as distinct particles when measured. It's as if the act of observation itself influences reality. This phenomenon led pioneers like Werner Heisenberg to famously state, "What we observe is not nature in itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning." The implications of quantum mechanics began to resonate deeply with those exploring consciousness. Could consciousness itself be the observer that collapses quantum possibilities into definite realities? Eugene Wigner, a Nobel laureate in physics, pondered whether consciousness was essential for the collapse of the wave function, suggesting that the entire universe might exist in a superposition of states until a conscious observer interacts with it. This idea, while controversial, opened the door to a scientific framework where consciousness is not merely an emergent property of the brain, but a fundamental constituent of reality. John Wheeler, another prominent physicist, proposed the, quote, participatory anthropic principle, suggesting that the universe is in some sense participatory, brought into being by observers. He even coined the term it from bit, implying that information, and by extension consciousness, might be more fundamental than matter. These ideas found fertile ground in the minds of thinkers who sought to bridge the gap between science and spirituality. Fritjof Capra's seminal work, The Tao of Physics, explored the striking parallels between the concepts of modern physics and the mystical traditions of the East, highlighting how both pointed towards an interconnected, dynamic, and ultimately unified reality. He argued that the ancient mystics, through their profound meditative insights, had intuitively grasped truths that physicists were now discovering through complex mathematical equations and experimental observations. Similarly, David Bohm, a protege of Einstein, developed the theory of the implicate order, proposing that the universe has a hidden underlying order from which our perceived reality, the explicate order, unfolds. He likened it to a hologram, where every part contains the whole, suggesting a fundamental interconnectedness that transcends space and time. Bohm believed that consciousness was not separate from this implicate order but an integral part of it, implying a universal, undivided consciousness that underlies all existence. This holistic view resonated strongly with spiritual notions of a unified field or Brahman. The concept of non-locality, particularly through quantum entanglement, offers a compelling scientific parallel to the spiritual idea of interconnectedness. When two particles become entangled, they remain linked regardless of the distance separating them. A measurement performed on one instantaneously influences the other, even if they are light years apart, seemingly violating the speed of light. This spooky action at a distance, as Einstein famously called it, suggests a deeper, non-spatial connection between seemingly separate entities. In a spiritual context, this mirrors the idea that all beings and all phenomena are ultimately interconnected within a single, unified consciousness. Many spiritual traditions emphasize that separation is an illusion, and that our sense of individuality is merely a temporary manifestation of a larger, collective consciousness. Entanglement provides a scientific analogy for this profound spiritual truth, hinting at a universe where everything is intimately related, not just through physical forces, but through a deeper, more fundamental fabric of reality. Consider the implications for shared consciousness or collective unconsciousness. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, proposed the concept of the collective unconscious, a reservoir of universal experiences, archetypes, and symbols shared by all humanity. This idea, while not directly quantum mechanical, finds a compelling resonance with the interconnectedness suggested by entanglement and the implicate order. If consciousness is indeed fundamental and non-local, then the boundaries between individual minds might be far more permeable than we currently assume. This could explain phenomena like telepathy, precognition, or shared mystical experiences, where individuals seem to access information or insights beyond their immediate sensory input. While these phenomena remain largely outside the realm of mainstream scientific verification, the emerging understanding of quantum consciousness provides a theoretical framework for their potential existence. Personal transformation stories often highlight the practical application of these ideas. Individuals who embrace the concept of a unified consciousness frequently report profound shifts in their perspective, leading to increased empathy, reduced fear of death, and a deeper sense of purpose. Practices like meditation, mindfulness, and prayer, which aim to quiet the individual ego and connect with a larger awareness, are seen as ways to directly experience this underlying unity. Many spiritual teachers emphasize that true spiritual growth involves transcending the illusion of separation and realizing one's inherent connection to all things. This realization, often described as an awakening or enlightenment, can lead to a profound sense of peace, joy, and unconditional love. From a quantum consciousness perspective, these practices might be seen as ways to consciously align with the implicate order, allowing for a more fluid and harmonious interaction with reality. However, it's crucial to acknowledge the limitations and ongoing debates within this field. While the parallels between quantum mechanics and spiritual concepts are intriguing, correlation does not equal causation. Many mainstream physicists caution against making direct leaps from quantum phenomena, which describe the behavior of subatomic particles, to macroscopic phenomena like human consciousness. The measurement problem in quantum mechanics, the question of how and why the wave function collapses, remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in physics. There are numerous interpretations of quantum mechanics, ranging from the Copenhagen interpretation, which emphasizes the role of the observer, to the many-worlds interpretation, which posits that every quantum measurement causes the universe to split into multiple parallel realities. Not all interpretations necessarily require a conscious observer for the collapse of the wave function. Some argue that the interaction with any macroscopic measuring device, conscious or not, is sufficient. Furthermore, the precise mechanism by which consciousness could interact with quantum fields remains purely speculative. While some theories, like Stuart Hameroff and Roger Penrose's orchestrated objective reduction (OR) theory, propose that consciousness arises from quantum processes within microtubules in the brain, these theories are highly controversial and lack definitive experimental evidence. Critics argue that the brain is too warm, wet, and noisy for delicate quantum coherence to be maintained for long enough to produce consciousness. The brain's environment is generally considered to be too decoherent for sustained quantum effects to play a significant role at the macroscopic level. While the brain is undoubtedly involved in the manifestation of consciousness, the question of whether it produces consciousness or merely filters it remains a central debate. Despite these challenges, the field of quantum consciousness continues to attract serious scientific inquiry. Researchers are exploring various avenues, including the possibility of quantum effects in biological systems, the role of information in the universe, and the nature of reality itself. Experiments are being designed to test the limits of quantum coherence in biological contexts, looking for signs of quantum behavior in processes like photosynthesis or bird navigation. The emergence of quantum computing also provides new tools and conceptual frameworks for understanding complex information processing, which may shed light on the computational nature of the brain and consciousness. While definitive proof remains elusive, the ongoing dialogue between physics, neuroscience, philosophy, and spirituality is pushing the boundaries of our understanding. The contemporary impact of these ideas is far-reaching. In medicine, the placebo effect, where a patient's belief in a treatment can lead to genuine physiological improvements, is often cited as an example of consciousness influencing physical reality. While not directly a quantum phenomenon, it highlights the powerful mind-body connection. Emerging fields like quantum biology are exploring how quantum mechanics might play a role in biological processes beyond simply consciousness, such as in enzyme catalysis or genetic mutation. In technology, the development of quantum computing, while not directly related to consciousness, is forcing us to rethink the fundamental nature of information and computation, offering new metaphors and models for understanding complex systems, including the brain. Culturally, the mainstreaming of concepts like mindfulness, manifestation, and the law of attraction reflects a growing public interest in the power of consciousness to shape reality. While some of these interpretations might be simplistic or even misleading, they underscore a widespread intuitive understanding that our thoughts and intentions have a profound impact on our lives and the world around us. Books, documentaries, and online communities dedicated to spirituality and quantum physics have proliferated, indicating a hunger for a more holistic and interconnected worldview. There's a growing recognition that the purely materialistic paradigm of science, while incredibly successful in many areas, may be incomplete in its ability to explain the full spectrum of human experience and the deepest mysteries of the universe. The convergence of quantum physics and spirituality suggests a universe that is not merely a collection of inert particles governed by blind forces, but a dynamic, interconnected, and potentially conscious entity. It invites us to consider that consciousness might be a fundamental aspect of reality, rather than an accidental byproduct of a complex brain. This perspective offers a profound shift in our understanding of ourselves, moving from isolated individuals in a meaningless cosmos to integral participants in a grand, evolving consciousness. It encourages us to explore our inner landscapes, to cultivate practices that foster a deeper connection to ourselves and others, and to recognize the immense potential that lies within each of us to shape our reality. The journey into quantum consciousness is not just an intellectual exercise. It's an invitation to a transformed way of being. As we conclude this exploration, remember that the questions we've raised are far more important than any definitive answers. The mysteries of consciousness and the universe continue to unfold, inviting each of us to participate in their discovery. What are your thoughts on the intersection of quantum physics and spirituality? Do you believe consciousness is fundamental to reality or an emergent property of the brain? Share your insights and perspectives in the comments below. Your contributions enrich this ongoing dialogue. If this journey into the depths of reality resonated with you, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more thought-provoking content that bridges science, spirituality, and the mysteries of existence. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next profound exploration. Thank you for joining us on this incredible intellectual and spiritual adventure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep expanding your consciousness.